I already made a 60-second overview of the equipment I ran in the recce 10K run and gun, but I figured I'd make a more in-depth overview of all the equipment I ran for you nerds like me that want to see everything. So first, I'll start with the Haley Strategic Flat Pack. I ran this with a granola bar, a bag of chips, and a beef jerky stick. I had a rangefinder, a pen, a lens cloth, and some spare optic batteries in this pouch. And then in the main pouch, I ran my Camelback, some over-the-ear ear pro just in case. And then what I actually did is I would run a stage and then I would take the rounds from that mag and I would make sure that I would top off another mag with it. And then I left the empty mags in here so that they weren't cluttering up my chest rig or my belt. And then I actually made sure I put this little carabiner on the zippers to make sure that the pack stayed closed the whole time, which I'm glad I did. Would have been really annoying to have the pack open up. Aside from that, I also ran this Wendigo Works split chest rig. Over here, I ran a 20 round just PMag with some 77 grain OTM from AAC Ammunition. I never ended up touching this mag, so it's still fully loaded. In this mag, I ran 2 PMags with mag pods on them to differentiate the fact that these also had the OTM rounds in them. I ended up using this full mag. This mag, though, I topped it off at the very end. Well, not the very end, at like the second to last stage, and didn't end up touching it again. So this mag's still full. After that, I ran just a regular mag in this pouch, and then I also ran my scorecard, as well as this is where I put the page from the book. And so this only had 1 mag in it the whole time. I had these Decibels Ear Pro just clipped to the chest rig so that I could run without them on. But as I would approach stages, I would pop it open and pop in my Ear Pro so that I, wouldn't go deaf. Over here on this side, I ran 3 pistol mags, and then I ran 1 mag in the pistol itself. That way I could keep my belt clean. I ended up doing quite well with all the pistol shooting, and so I ended the match with plenty of ammo left over for my pistol. I also ran 2 30-round PMags with 55 grain ammo. I ended up using 1 full mag of 55 grain, but this mag's completely full as well. So lots of leftover ammo that I carried on my person for the entire race. But it's that age-old adage of I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I definitely didn't want to run out of ammo while being in the middle of a 10K. And then over here I have this actually Nalgene pouch. I didn't want to run water in it though because it's quite intrusive of my pistol draw. So I actually just ran my iPro in this pouch for the entire match. So I would stuff it in here, I would run, I'd get to the stage, I'd put my Ear Pro on, put my iPro on, and then be off to the races. As for a belt, I don't even remember who makes this belt. I know it's US made, so it's not like a Chinese knockoff, but I don't remember who makes it. I like it though quite a bit. I like my Blue Alpha Gear belt better, but I like the way I set this belt up better, so it's kind of unfortunate. But as for pistol, I ran my CZP-10F that Culper Precision did up for me, made it look all nice and pretty. This actually has like 8,000 rounds on it since they did the work. It's got a lot. It's buttery smooth. I don't know if you can hear that. It's buttery smooth, so I can actually do the thing like that. I don't know if I can do it right now. There we go. So yeah, this thing's buttery smooth. Trijicon SRO Streamlight TLR1 HL. You can tell I haven't cleaned it for a couple hundred rounds. Pretty dirty, but anyway. So yeah, I ran the CZ. No hiccups with it. It ran like a dream, like it always does. You can actually hear the slide's getting a little bit of slop in it because of how many rounds are on it, and the recoil spring is actually getting a bit tired, but it ran like a dream. And the stippling from Culper Precision is just as aggressive as I want it to be. And so that even when I had sweaty hands while running the run and gun, I had phenomenal grip purchase on this pistol. So I was very happy with it. I only ran 1 20-round mag on my belt with 77 grain OTMs as well. I only ended up using this mag on the final stage. So I used 3 rounds from this mag. So I ran the entire thing with this on my hip just to use 3 rounds from it. After that, my rifle, grab it right here. I ran this Franken build that I built up. So this is a Gen 1 YHM Turbo. As you can tell by the patina on it, it's probably got over 10,000 rounds on it. It's probably got 6,000 rounds of Russian steel case ammo through it. So yeah, thing's a tank. It shows its miles, but I actually tuned this rifle to the can, so that's why I continue to run it. I've got my peep sight. If you know, you know. I ran a Magpul bipod for 2 reasons. 1, the weight, and 2, the ability to snap it down. I will say I deployed the bipod more than once, and so I was quite happy with the decision to run it with a bipod. Moving back from there, I've got the handbrake that, you know, everybody's big fan of right now. I love the handbrake, actually. It's a good hand stop. Geisley rail, I needed that durability to be able to run the scope switch. This antimatter scope switch, there were several stages where I would shoot, I would magnify, I'd shoot a target, I'd zoom back out, I'd find my next target, zoom back in, engage that target, and zoom back out without ever having to let go of the rifle. I don't care what anyone says, that was a clear advantage during the match. Being able to run the antimatter scope switch definitely helped me clear some of the stages. It helped me be able to find targets and then be able to magnify enough to get my hits rapidly. And so if you were to ask me if the scope switch is worth it, I would say if you're doing a 10K running gun, absolutely. From there, I ran the Zero Delta ambidextrous lower receiver. I'm a big fan of being able to drop the bolts with my trigger finger without having to run a... I'm not the biggest fan of the bad lever. It works, and I do like that you can lock the bolt open with it. But yeah, this lower was more than sufficient for me. I did put an offset Steiner MIPS on it so that if I needed to, I could rotate to it and blast away. It was more intended to be a backup aiming solution in case something somehow happened to my Trijicon Credo 1-6. Nothing happened, and so I ran the entire race with this on it without ever using it. From there, everybody hates the Daniel defense stock. I actually like it quite a bit, so that's why it's on here. A5 buffer system, Springco red, oh wait, no, Springco green spring, heavy buffer. I run the YHM suppressed gas block actually, because this thing is wildly overgassed. LaRue overgasses their barrels quite a bit. From there, I ran my favorite sling, which is actually the OG Viking Tactics VTAC. The reason I ran it and the reason I like it so much is it's dual adjustable. And so when I would get to stages, I would loosen it up so I had all the breathing room I needed to be able to work around my gear and everything. But then when it was time to run, I can tighten it up. And then I actually have a second area where I can crank it up. I can't shoot from this position, obviously, because it's like cranked way into me. But when it came to running, having it in this tight definitely made it so I didn't have to carry the rifle necessarily. I would actually clamp my hand on the MIPS, and then I would just rest my other hand, and I would run. On the downhill stages, I would actually rotate the rifle upside down, and I would wrap around it like this and run like this down the hills. And so that setup all around actually worked really well for the running gun, for running up and down steep mountains, all of that. So overall, I was really pleased with how this rifle performed. I did detail clean it and lube it before the match because I knew I didn't want to have any malfunctions. I had one malfunction on the final stage, so that was actually really annoying to me, but that's okay. I still cleared it, still took 4th place, so can't really complain. And again, the rifle performed in every way I wanted it to, other than that final malfunction. So overall, I was quite satisfied with the gear that I chose to run. Running it with a battle belt sucked. I'm not gonna lie, like my hips were burning and screaming by the end of it. If I could go back in time, I would probably slim that belt down to just the pistol and have just the pistol on there. I might even run a thigh strap to give it a little more support, so that not so much of the weight was being pushed down on my hips. The chest rig worked in every way I wanted it to. It was easy to rip off if I needed to get a quick breather, easy to get back on. It carried all my gear well. My shoulders were not sore at all after the match. So the only things that were really sore, my legs were screaming. My elbows were a little sore from running with my arms tucked the whole time instead of actually running. So maybe running a backpack to throw the rifle in would be nice on the next one. I don't know. We'll see what I choose to do. But all in all, the gear ran flawlessly. I ran it in Vans Ultra ranges. They worked really well. I like the Ultra ranges a lot. And other than that, yeah, that's about it. I didn't end up putting gloves on at all for it. Yeah, so there wasn't anything that there wasn't ever a time where I wish I had something I didn't have. Oh, I should actually clarify one thing. I did have my gloves on me, and there was one stage where I actually ripped my gloves off the belt real quick, stuffed a glove inside the other glove, and actually used the gloves as a small shooting bag. And that actually gave me a level of stability that I know aided me on that stage. It was actually stage number 2. I know doing that actually helped me clear that stage as quickly as I did. So yeah, overall, there's my full-length 10-minute review. If you watched the whole thing, thank you. If there's any critiques you have to my gear, let me know. But other than that, I was pleasantly surprised and very happy with the gear choices I had. The 16-inch rifle with the 77 grain OTMs and the Trijicon 1-6 was perfect. I forgot to mention that I actually zeroed the optic at 65 yards because at 65 yards, I was able to get a rough true up of the BDC reticle in there, which being able to have those holds correspond 300, 400, 500 yards was a huge advantage to me. It made it really easy to be able to just hold over, make a wind call, and make my hits. So yeah, overall, very pleased with the setup. Extremely pleased with the course itself. It was a blast. It was awesome. It was such a good time. I was exhausted afterwards, and that's how I knew that the course was designed well. So yeah, there you have it.